Good morning, girls. I have just gotten back from my walk and I quickly painted my nails. I had taken off my nail polish last night and then I kind of filed them a little bit this morning. I am solo momming this week. Kaya is in Texas, and so every single day has been like down to the minute planned, but I'm still doing my best to get my steps in. Last month we called it September. This month I'm calling it Walktober. Let's see how far I can take this. We're gonna run with this. I might need to lean into ChatGPT. I've already got November down and I have December down. So I had September, Walktober, November, December. Stay tuned. Unfortunately, I can't share these things too much ahead of time because we've kind of been infiltrated and there's a little bit of things that are being shared and taken and used in other capacities. But I will share November and December with you when the time comes. But we are in Walktober. And so I just got my steps in. Let's see. Yay! We're at 10,000. We did it. I'll put it up here on the screen. We hit the 10K before I get to my desk, which is always my main goal. So now I am hydrating. I'm going to make my greens with creatine here in a second. I took a shower last night. I blow dried my hair. I completely blew it straight last night. So I bet I can just head upstairs, get dressed for the day because we've got a busy agenda, girls. We're going to go through my labs today. The labs that I pulled a few weeks ago with the LabCorp On Demand. My results are in, and I've been kind of Easter egg dropping them a little bit here and there because there's truly nothing more rewarding than seeing your hard work, which I feel like I see my hard work every day, whether it's with my skin, my complexion, my energy, my hair, like my hairline, I feel like is better than it's ever been at 41 years old. I just got my hair trimmed. I have this like big sweater on, so it's kind of hard to tell because this part up here is so thick, but I just got my hair trimmed, and by trimmed, like we actually took quite a bit off. I think we took like 3 or 4 inches, and I feel like that has already grown back in like a matter of 8 weeks, which is kind of impossible, I think, to grow 3 or 4 inches in 8 weeks, but it has definitely grown a ton because we chopped off quite a bit. So I do feel like on a day-to-day basis, I definitely see the results of the hard work and effort that I've been putting in for 16 years. Like I see that on a daily basis, but there's nothing better than seeing your numbers on screen and you're like, wow, this is why I do what I do. I do what I do because I want to show up with mental clarity. I do what I do because I want to have energy to kick the soccer ball with my kids today after school. I want to have the capacity to take on more one-on-one clients, which, girls, thank you so much. September was packed to the brim and it's the first week of October, and I've had 4 new girls start in the last 3 days, and I see 2 more booked literally overnight. Quite literally overnight. And I want to be able to show up as the best version of myself. And the only way to do that is to take care of yourself. And when you take care of yourself and then your labs mirror how you've been feeling, honestly, it to me is like what we're doing is working. What we're doing is truly working. So I'm gonna go ahead and get dressed. It's going to definitely stay chilly today, but at least the sun is out. Make a greens, and then we're gonna head into the office. And then I wanna go over my lab results from LabCorp On Demand with you girls and tell you about the strategies that I've been implementing over the last 16 years, but truly the strategies that I've been implementing to feel my very best on this glow up to 40, which let me know in the comment section down below. I feel like we've been going back and forth on what to call this series. I feel like I can't rename the series because I went into so much detail on my 39th birthday. I went into so much detail on the glow up to 40. Do I start another series like glow up to any age, the glow up journey? We've grown up to 40. I feel like I should keep it in the same playlist though, because it's all a continuum, but maybe this glow up to 40, you girls know, but anybody who's new here, hi, welcome. I did this journey glow up to 40. I'm now 41 years old. And these lab results are going to show you just how intuitive, when we're intuitive with our body and we feed our body what it needs and we implement practitioner professional support, it really makes a tremendous difference. So let's go get dressed. Hopefully I can put on something cute but cozy, make our greens, and then reconvene in the office. Okay, girls, just popped into the office, opened up my laptop to my LabCorp portal where I can see all of my results from my LabCorp on-demand test that we did in early September. So I did the micronutrient test and the fatigue test. Those were the two tests that I had purchased and that we had done back in September. I have to be honest with you, the results came in so quickly. So I've been excited to go over these results with you. And one of the biggest things I want to say about getting your lab work done is that it gives us the ability to deeply understand what's happening inside of your body. We could be walking around blindly and completely unaware with some of the deficiencies and or things that are dysregulated and be completely oblivious. And the beautiful thing with LabCorp On Demand is that you can go on and you can purchase the exact same test that your care team is using in office. And you can go on to LabCorp On Demand. As I said, I did purchase the micronutrient test and the fatigue test. And so those are two pretty comprehensive tests that cover a lot of what's happening within the body. The micronutrient test is great because it has vitamin D, vitamin B12, folate, magnesium, iodine, and zinc. All of these key minerals and micronutrients that play a critical role in our body, especially as women. And then the fatigue test is a great one that pairs perfectly with your micronutrient test. And inside the fatigue test, it pulls your TSH, your comprehensive metabolic panel, so your CMP, your CBC, your complete blood count, a ferritin test, and a diabetes risk test with your A1C. And so just taking a look here at my portal, my results were delivered so quickly straight to my email. I was able to log in to my portal on LabCorp and see my results. And the beautiful thing, as you can see here on the screen, is it shows your results and it makes it really easy for you to interpret and go through your own results. Of course, if you ever have any questions, you can take, because like I said, these are the exact same tests that your care team is using in office. You can take these labs that you purchased to your care team, or you can feel free to book a lab review with me. I will have that linked for you in the description box down below. That's actually much of what my job consists of, is reading labs on a daily basis. So this one to me was definitely not a surprise, but it's always wonderful to see. But my magnesium was in a really good place. Now, I am somebody who is very conscious of my magnesium, and I've been on the BioOptimizer's Magnesium Breakthrough for, it will be 4 years come December since I've been taking this magnesium. And I take 4 magnesium a day. I take 1 in the morning alongside my vitamin D. I take 1 around 2:45 in the afternoon, and then 2 before bed. So seeing my magnesium levels here within the optimal range, not just in the normal range, within the optimal range, was really important to me, because magnesium is necessary for over 300 enzymatic properties. It's so imperative to our hormone health, our vitamin D metabolization, our utilization of vitamin D, and it plays such a critical role in our overall well-being. So my magnesium was in a really great place. Then going to my folate. So folate, also known as vitamin B9. As you can see here on the screen, it plays a critical role in DNA, creating making DNA, your genetic material in your cells. So you can see here that my folate came back beautifully optimal within like the top optimal range. And folate is crucial for DNA repair, fertility, and detoxification pathways. I think that this is something that we often forget about when it comes to folate. And you know me and my hyperfixation on both phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. Well, seeing my folate within optimal range is something that's one, super motivating for me to show that all of the hard work I put in is most definitely worth it. That being optimized is absolutely possible for a 41-year-old busy mother, entrepreneur, founder, CEO, practitioner, content creator. All of these things weigh heavily and they take a lot of responsibility, but your health, first and foremost, should always be number one. So detoxification is so imperative to me. We start every single day with a lemon ginger tonic, and my folate levels here show that indeed that how I focus on natural intake of folate with things like leafy greens and lentils. Those are just a few of my favorite. And I always, of course, recommend avoiding synthetic folate, especially as women. And many of us do have that MTHFR gene mutation. So if you are supplementing with folate, always make sure to use a methylized version. I will have my full script link for you in the description box down below, where I do have links to all of the supplements that I take. Moving on to vitamin D. Girls, I mean, this is such a big one. This is such a big one. I review dozens and dozens and dozens of labs every single week, and rarely do I see adequate levels of vitamin D. Now, given I had this taken in September, so it is still sunny, I am still outside, and I do supplement with vitamin D every single day. Do I shift around my supplementation in the summer compared to February and March here in Michigan? Yeah, you betcha. But as you can see here that my vitamin D is at 71.8, which is right in the absolute optimal range, not only for immunity, but for hormone production and for mood stability and stabilization. I don't think we realize how heavily vitamin D plays a role in the way that we show up feeling energized and with a happy mood each and every day. So many of the women that I see in my practice definitely fall within that 20 to 40 range, which is way too low for thyroid and metabolic health. If your vitamin D levels drop this low, that's when things become problematic, and that's when we feel like a shell of ourselves and things just begin to fall off. So getting outside each and every morning, looking up into the sky indirectly at the sun, getting that into your eyes, one, to synthesize that vitamin D, to boost that natural circadian rhythm and cortisol pattern. All of these things matter. And they make a difference, girls. And then, of course, using strategic supplementation for your vitamin D is definitely important. Then moving into zinc. This was a great one for me to see, to be honest with you, because I don't supplement too much with zinc, especially in the warmer months. So to see my levels at 97, for me, when I'm going through my lab reviews, I want to see 90 or higher to be in that optimal range. And I, of course, was right there, as you can see. So zinc is foundational, of course, for your immune system. But as I said, coming out of the summer, I didn't supplement that much with zinc. I did get a lot of zinc through my food. That's where functional nutrition plays a really critical role, getting in those nutrients through your foods. In addition to that, zinc is so important for your thyroid health, for your skin. And so I'm always looking for that range clinically above 90 for cellular repair and hormone balance. This is really important. Zinc plays a really big role in our overall endocrine system. And so I'm really happy to see that my zinc levels are here. Then we go on to my iodine. So my iodine was at 47, and this was the one that I said I was a little bit nervous about, zinc and iodine, in the first video that I did where we went and got my labs taken. But my iodine was optimal. It was really great. And the reason that we want proper levels of iodine, especially as a recovering Hashimoto's girl, well, I will forever and always have Hashimoto's, but I've been in remission for 10 plus years, which is something I'm really proud of because it's something I did all on my own. But iodine is especially important for our thyroid hormone production. So if we are lacking in iodine, it's really challenging for our thyroid to convert that T3 to T4 to have adequate levels of TSH. And so I love to see my iodine here. And so we can definitely get this from sea vegetables and mineral rich foods. And then I do occasionally supplement with iodine, but I hadn't been doing much iodine supplementation in the summer. So it was really happy to see this. So my CBC panel overall, everything looked really, really strong. My white blood count was at 4.9. My hemoglobin was at 14.2. My platelets were at 274. So everything was really strong and balanced, which makes me happy. And then looking at metabolic health, we move on to my glucose. And my glucose was at 77 and my A1C was at 5.0%. Both are in optimal ideal range. And as a female who's been on a very high protein forward diet, which is not the way that I used to eat 3 to 4 years ago. I've always loved, well, not always, I was vegan for many years, but since I went back to eating meat 10 years ago, I'm a big fan of animal protein, but there was many years that I didn't really focus on how much protein I was getting. So to see my glucose levels and to see the stability in my blood sugar makes me so happy, because insulin is most definitely a hormone. It influences all of our hormones from our cortisol to our estrogen. It impacts so much. So this year, these numbers, they reflect a steady blood sugar, metabolic flexibility, and strong mitochondria function. And so the fact that I feel the way I feel is definitely indicative of where these levels stand. And when I'm on a day that there's a blood sugar roller coaster, because there definitely are those days, I just know that that day does not dictate how ultimately I lead my lifestyle, because blood sugar stability is one of the most underrated keys to hormone balance and energy regulation. Like, you cannot have steady levels of energy and balanced hormones if your insulin is up and down on a roller coaster all day. So I was really happy and excited to see these levels. Then my kidneys and electrolytes, everything was really strong and perfectly balanced. And so these markers tell me that my electrolyte intake, like magnesium, sodium, and potassium, are in a really healthy synergy, which makes me happy. 3 more that I wanna call out here that I definitely saved for the end are ones that I'm really proud of. Like, I'm really proud of these levels, because girls, practicing what you preach can be hard when life gets busy. And sticking to your healthy habits when it feels like wash, rinse, and repeat every single day in and day out, you're doing the exact same thing, like drinking your lemon ginger tonic. Spoiler alert, that's where we're gonna go first. When it feels like we're doing the same thing day in and day out, and we're like, oh, do I really need to do this? There's a reason for it. So my liver health here, as you can see, my liver enzymes, so my ALT, my AST, is at a 16 and a 20, and they are all beautifully within range. And so it is nearly impossible to have a optimized endocrine system and an optimized gut and mitochondria health when your liver is not processing and properly detoxing. And so I know that silly little drink that I came up with 16 years ago of taking ginger and taking lemons and throwing it through the Breville juicer that I still have today. I'm so proud that that thing is still kicking. I do definitely need a new one. Maybe that will be on my Black Friday list. It just brings back like so many good memories. But even being here today, and as somebody who has Hashimoto's in remission, liver health to me was one of the first things that I attacked. I attacked my inflammation levels first, but spoiler alert, those go hand in hand with your liver health. To see these numbers here, girls, like, I'm gonna say it, I feel really proud of myself. And it's okay to feel that way. Like, I want all of us to be self-aware and humble humans, but at the same time, seeing these liver enzymes perfect within, beautifully optimized within range, this is a sign that my detox pathways are crystal clear and my system is effectively and efficiently processing both hormones and nutrients. And so, of course, not all of this is from the lemon ginger tonic. It's lifestyle factors. It's the foods I eat. It's the detox methods that I use, whether it's sweating in the sauna, doing the rebounding, doing the dry brushing, the castor oil packs on my liver, the liver detox tea, taking milk thistle when necessary. I don't consume very much alcohol, like maybe 1 glass of wine a week. Sure, moving into the holiday season, that's a whole different story. I always say that my personality turns into champagne, but that's not my everyday. That's not who I am most days, weeks, and months out of the year. If I have a little champagne, on a Tuesday in December. But ultimately, the lifestyle choices I make on a day-to-day basis support my biology. They support the biochemical mechanisms within my body. They support my cellular health, my cellular repair, my mitochondria. They support all of these things and my detox pathways. And so I'm really proud of this. I'm really grateful to see these numbers here, and I love showing it to you because I hope that I can serve as motivation for you girls to make that lemon ginger tonic, to get outside, to get that sunlight in your eyes. These habits are so simple. The lemon ginger tonic, a daily, I think we did the math one time, a daily dose of lemon ginger tonic, because we only use 1 to 2 ounces of the tonic with hot water. I think we did it, and it's like 65 cents a day. That, and then the sunlight is free. These habits make a difference. And, getting out, going for a walk, or dry brushing, using the castor oil pack that you have. I know so many of you girls have it. I'm hopefully encouraging and maybe even inspiring you to pick it up and use it, because it makes a difference. It makes a tremendous difference. Then my ferritin. So my ferritin as a female, as a cycling female who's 41 years old, who does not take an iron supplement, my ferritin was in ideal functional range at 62. So this is amazing for oxygen transportation, of course, without tipping inflammation, because sometimes when our ferritin levels get too high, we can become extremely inflamed, which is why I don't often recommend supplementing with iron, because I don't want to tip the scale. I don't want to kick the bucket and have you feeling highly inflamed. So that's why I use things like organ meat and organ complex and copper. I'm a big fan of copper to raise up our iron and to oxygenate the ferritin to really help transport it from one place to another. I always say that the copper helps the iron get on the bus to get to be where it needs to be. And so low ferritin is extremely common in women. It's associated with things like fatigue and hair loss and dry skin and brittle nails. And so I always aim for 50 to 90. 90 is definitely at the high end as the functional range. And I'm really grateful to see that I'm within this space. And as I said, I definitely was eating some red meat. I said this in the first video. I was a little bit nervous about my zinc, my ferritin, and my iodine. Those were the three. Those were the three that I was like, oh man, I don't know how this is gonna go. And I'm so happy and grateful to see that these levels are here. And then of course my thyroid, this was a great one because my TSH came back at a 2.5, and from a functional perspective, this is exactly where I want to see my thyroid, especially as somebody who I said, as I mentioned, has tested positive for Hashimoto's 16 years ago. I no longer test positive for any antibodies, but this is amazing for me to be able to see this. So from an energy, a mood, a metabolism standpoint, my thyroid is definitely responding to the interventions and to the lifestyle changes that I have made over the last 16 years to get me where I am today. And I always say that sometimes the thing that feels the most overwhelming is the most imperative part of your journey. And I wouldn't be here today if at 24 years old, I wasn't diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, because I was working in marketing, advertising, and public relations at the time. And as I went to go find help, there was nobody that I was able to connect with, being in the Midwest at the time. Nobody I was able to connect with who was a Hashimoto's expert, and Instagram didn't exist then. YouTube was not what it is today. So I went to the library and I took out books and I read everything and I self-taught, and then I went back to school. I became a health coach, and then I became a functional nutritionist, and then I became a functional diagnostic nutritionist. I proceeded to get 3 master's degrees. I then studied nutraceuticals and supplemental science. And so that journey, if that would not have happened, if that diagnosis wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't be here today. We would not be here together today. So to see these levels here today is definitely something that's like a pinch me moment. Seeing all of this here more than anything is a result of years of consistent nutrition, healthy lifestyle habits, strategic supplementation, doing the things that help me feel my best is reflected. And in addition to that, stress management techniques. It's never about perfection, ever. It's about balance, and having accessibility to purchase your own labs is something that I think is revolutionary. And I feel so grateful to be alive at a time like this, where we're able to go on our computer, go on our phones, and buy our own labs, the ones that are used in office, to better understand our body, to make targeted lifestyle choices, supplement choices, and nutrition choices that truly move the needle. So I will have my link to LabCorp On Demand as well as my code for you in the description box down below. And where you can go on and purchase all of your own labs, I will have that for you in the description box down below. But I definitely want to work on a few things. I definitely think that moving into the winter months, this gives me a really great snapshot. I'm going to pay close attention to this. And then maybe we'll do a check-in next month in November where I kind of tell you where I'm at, how I'm feeling based on some of the changes and the things that we discussed today to make sure my levels stay where they are and move anything up that I need to work on a little bit more just to help me feel my best before we move into those dark, cold months. This is the ideal time to get ahead of things and to get a peek under the hood at what's going on. So if you're interested in LabCorp On Demand, I will have my link and my code for you in the description box down below, as well as the first pinned comment. Kids are off of the bus. I've changed into cozy sweatpants. These ones are newer from Aritzia. I'm almost positive. I will have them linked there. So warm and so cozy. I'm going to get ready to start some ground beef because tonight we are going to be doing some build your own nachos, which is always a big favorite in our house because I just get all the different toppings and the sides. I cook the ground beef, and then I'm going to be using the Siete corn flour chips, not the cassava flour. I don't really love the cassava flour when it comes to nachos because they're not as dense. So we're just going to be using the Siete corn flour chips cooked in coconut oil. That's going to be the base. And I have 2 pounds of 100% ground beef that we're going to be using, grass-fed ground beef. I'm going to put this in here with the Thrive Market taco seasoning. 2 packs of the Thrive Market taco seasoning because I use 1 per pound of beef. We're going to brown this up and then start washing up our cilantro, our shredded romaine, onion, jalapenos, all of the good, yummy toppings. girls' dinner was so delicious and so easy and simple. I will have the recipe here on the screen for you. If you're a member of Living Well, then this nacho recipe is already available to you inside Living Well. It is honestly one of my favorite go-tos on busy evenings where I'm just trying to do my best. Honestly, I'm just trying to do my best managing work and soccer and after-school activities and homework and all of the things that come with that, and feeding my family healthy, nourishing meals. This is one of my go-to recipes. So I put together some notes before I go in and I do my dry brushing, and then after the shower, I'm going to do my zip halo. And I wanted to chat with you girls a little bit about the science of living well and the science of wellness, because obviously today we have been focused on going over my labs. And while I know seeing these numbers, sometimes if your numbers aren't where you want them to be currently at this phase, or you don't even know where to begin with lab work, one, I would recommend LabCorp On Demand. You can hop on and order the exact same test that your care team is using in office. But let's just say that you are somebody who's earlier on your health journey, or you're in need of a refresh or to hit the reset button and start over. I put together a few notes because I feel like the wellness space is becoming so confusing. There's so much noise. And my goal has always been to provide as much information, education, and inspiration as possible in a way that feels applicable and achievable. Now, of course, everybody's life and lifestyle and life circumstances are different. And so what may be applicable for me may not be for you at this current phase of your life. My children are 7 and 10. Right now, they're finishing up their reading and their homework, and then I'm going to be able to dry brush, hop in the shower while they watch 2 Bluey episodes. However, with that being said, I remember 10 years ago, 9 years ago, 8 years ago, that wasn't the current phase of life that I'm in. So everybody's in a different phase of life, and that's okay. But the wellness space has become so crowded, and with that, there's been a lot of complexity that has been added. And I want to remind us to get back to basics. And I feel like that has been so much of my glow up to 40 journey, has been taking my magnesium breakthrough before bed, rubbing magnesium cream on my feet and my children's feet before bed, doing my dry brushing before I hop into the shower, popping on a castor oil pack 3 to 4 times per week, getting at least 10,000 steps. Most days it's 14 to 15,000 steps per day. Like honestly, girls, that and starting your day with the lemon ginger tonic with a little bit of salt under your tongue, hitting your protein, hitting your steps, and getting good rest, and then seeing how that impacts your numbers is really where we need to be. Like that's where, if we could take everything that's out in the wellness space, including this laundry list of notes that I have, if we could take everything and distill it down to the basics, that would be it. Hydrate, flush out your liver first thing in the morning with the lemon ginger tonic, do it with some minerals, get some sunlight if it's sunny in the morning when you wake up, indirectly into your eyes, get that sunlight in, get your movement in, properly nourish your body. From there, do a little bit of self-care with dry brushing, castor oil pack, a shower, a bath, some magnesium cream, some magnesium supplementation, and see how that impacts your numbers. Because as you saw what we went over earlier, that all looks really good. And it's honestly something I'm very proud of. And I think anybody should be very proud of the numbers that they work hard for. But much of what impacts my labs are the basics and bringing it back to the basics. And so what I wrote down about the science of living well and the science of wellness is that I just want you to realize that all of these mechanisms work cohesively together. Your body is not siloed. So my thyroid is not siloed separately from my adrenals. So when my cortisol spikes, it's going to impact my ovaries, my fertility. It's going to impact my pituitary gland, my thyroid gland, those thyroid numbers. And then if my micronutrient and nutrient status, my magnesium, my vitamin D, my folate, my B12, my B6, if all of those levels are low, that's going to impact my thyroid and my adrenals and my liver function. So I just want us to think of the body holistically and how we can impact these systems with our behaviors. and our behaviors do not need to be extreme. You know me. You girls know me. Our behaviors do not need to be extreme. It can be simple. It can be walking. It can be rebounding. It can be doing somatic heel raises. It can be getting to bed a little bit earlier, removing the blue light. That light behind me is not blue light, hence why it's giving off such a yellow glow. But removing the blue light before bed, bringing in some self-care practices like the magnesium cream, the dry brushing, all of these tiny micro habits add up and they build into this really beautiful lifestyle. And this lifestyle, these rituals that are part of your lifestyle, support your biology. And when your biology is positively impacted by your lifestyle, you will see numbers like the ones we went over in my lab review earlier. So I hope that you girls feel motivated by today's video. I hope you girls feel encouraged to take a peek under the hood at what's going on. I am the biggest wimp when it comes to getting my labs done, but I do it and I do it often because it's worth it and it's important to do. So I will have my link for you as well as my discount code in the description box down below, where you can go ahead and check out LabCorp On Demand and then let me know if you have any questions. Of course, I would be happy to answer them for you in the comment section down below. And I want to thank you girls so much for watching today's video. And if you enjoyed today's video, you can let me know by giving it a big thumbs up. And now the subscribe button is right over here on the screen. Give that a click, that way you don't miss a single video. And I hope to see you back here next Thursday.